This video continues with sample problem number 2. We've gone over part 1, which was mainly about income. This part is about filing status. In the sample problem, it reads, Tabitha Stevens was born July 14, 2009. Tabitha earned $4,500 during the year. That was from working as a child model. And Tabitha lived with Samantha, the taxpayer, her mother, for the entire year. Samantha paid all costs associated with the apartment in which they live, as well as all items of support for Tabitha. Let's examine this. Tabitha, the daughter, born in 2009. So how old is she? And what is the age test to be a qualifying child dependent? She has to be under 19 to be a dependent as a child, or a full-time student under the age of 24. Tabitha, in this case, does pass the age test. At this point, we know that she can be a qualifying child based on the age test, but we don't know about the other tests that she has to pass, such as relationship tests. Well, obviously that she will pass because she is a child of her mother, the taxpayer. And then there's the domicile test, joint return test, citizenship test, self-support test. She's very young, she's not married, so she'll pass the joint return test, meaning that a child must not file a joint return with his or her spouse. Tabitha's not married, she's too young, so she'll pass the joint return test. Citizenship test, we'll assume that she passes the citizenship test as a U.S. citizen, a resident of the U.S., Canada, or Mexico. At this point, there are 2 tests remaining, the domicile test and the self-support test, and also one item of note, which is she earned $4,500 from working being a child model. She has gross income. Is that okay? For a qualifying child, it is okay. There is no gross income test. That is only for a qualifying relative, meaning that a qualifying relative cannot earn income more than the threshold. For a qualifying child, it does not matter. Okay, and just an aside information, for a qualifying relative, the income threshold is $4,200 for the year of 2019. More than that, then that person, that individual cannot be a qualifying relative. The problem reads, Tabitha lived with Samantha for the entire year. That looks like it qualifies for a domicile test. What is the domicile test? The child must have the same place of abode as the taxpayer for more than half of the taxable year. Okay, passes the domicile test. Next, Samantha paid all costs associated with the apartment in which they live, as well as all items of support for Tabitha. That's the support test. The child who provides more than one half of her own support cannot be claimed as a dependent of someone else. In this case, Samantha paid all costs and all items of support. Tabitha does not provide more than half of her own support because she is supported by more than half from Samantha, right? Therefore, we have established that Samantha has a daughter and the daughter is her dependent, and therefore, what filing status can Samantha file? Head of household. And as head of household for tax filings, it has more advantages than a single filing status. A lower tax liability for head of household. Head of household filing means that the individual has dependent, and with dependents may qualify for child tax credit or child care and dependent care expense credit. Don't forget, on Form 1040, check off the box for filing status, head of household.